Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube, Diggy546? Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so I wanted to talk about Daniel Jones this video. Specifically, I'll cover it lightly in another video when I do my pregame. But Daniel Jones has really been balling out these last 2 weeks. Yes, week 1 we put up, we put up like 11 points or something. We did do that last time, or I think 10 or 11, something like that. But either way, I think Daniel Jones has been playing great football. He has not had the best supporting cast so far this season. I mean, week 1, his defense couldn't get off the field. We barely had any possessions, but he moved the ball up and down the field, pretty much all day. The second week in a row, he moved the ball up and down the field against 2 defenses. Now, I think Washington's defense may have been a little bit overrated like the Giants, but Denver's defense, I think, is a very, very good defense. And against both teams, he moved the ball up and down the field. This next week, he got a little bit better in the red zone, made a couple of more big plays, and it translated to a much better offensive game. 29 points, the most we ever put up in this Jason Garrett offense that people complained about so much. Also, we actually saw Garrett let him take a couple of shots down the field, call a little bit more deep concept routes, and it's been translating well. I think if we can call similar games to how we called this game against Washington, we'll have a lot more success with this offense and Daniel Jones specifically. If you look back to the Cincinnati Bengals game, I think that was when everything started to click last year for Daniel Jones. He got hurt, had to go out, and he came back and he was very limited, couldn't do as much moving around, couldn't even move around in the pocket that much. He looked like a complete statue, and he didn't really get healthy until that Cowboys game. And what did you see? The Cowboys game, he comes out, performs at a very high level, goes out and wins his team that game. It was a crucial, win or go home kind of game. Now, this past game against Washington, he probably, to me, some people are saying that this isn't his best game of his career, but I would say, I guess if you think of that Washington game 2 years ago in 2019, he did throw 5 touchdowns with no interceptions, but I would think that this would have to be in the top, 2 or 3 at least, because he made a lot of great decisions, made great plays with his legs, really added a lot of value to his team. And this is the first time I really saw Daniel Jones and said, this guy is really elevating the entire team, elevating his team to what should have been a very, very easy victory if we didn't have a bunch of penalties, bad coaching and bad spots, just bad plays all around that we shouldn't have had happen. And I have a couple of stats here. 2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing, 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Not too bad. 0 interceptions. Of course, he got that 1 fumble, though. Jalen Hurts fumbles a lot. Lamar Jackson fumbles a lot. I don't know how often Josh Allen fumbles, but most of these quarterbacks that take off and run with the football, they'll have a couple of times where they fumble. So that's just going to happen. It just happens. I mean, you're running with the ball down the field. You're a quarterback. Those things just happen. So only 1 fumble, though, so far. Did a lot better job at sliding and not putting the ball in harm's way. Week 2 was able to get 95 yards. Should have had 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. Should have also had another touchdown throwing the ball down the field to Darius Slayton. And what prompted me to make this video is the fact that PFF ranked him as the 2nd best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's been playing like the 2nd best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think so. I think he's been around top 8, top 9. Definitely from what I've seen. But guys like Derek Carr, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, even with his turnovers, have looked really, really good. And I really think that PFF's grading system at this point is flawed, and they got to figure out a way to correct that. But anyway, they ranked him high, which I kind of agree with. He's playing really good football. Not as good as they're saying, but he is playing very, very good football. The QBR, I think, has him ranked like top 10, number 9, number 10, number 8, somewhere around that. Quarterback rating is hogwash to me. It's not really something that I put any stock into because you can throw an interception. Tom Brady throws 2 interceptions week 1. They go against his stock in the quarterback rating part. but those 2 interceptions were his fault. So I'm more like to look forward to QBR. Even PFF does a better job in quarterback rate. He is throwing in the tight windows 23% of the time. He has a 23% aggressiveness rate by by NFL Next Gen Stats. He's throwing in the very tight windows consistently. That's the top of the league. No one else is throwing in the windows as often as Daniel Jones is having to do, because either his receivers aren't getting separation or simply the scheme isn't allowing his receivers to get enough separation. So he is having to throw in the tight windows, doing a great job of not turning the ball over, even though he's having to do that, which concerns me because we have a guy that has a very big issue holding on to the ball in tight windows, who's coming back probably this week, who's also going to add a lot of playmaking, but he can be a guy that will just, drop some passes, throw them up in the air, and put it in danger. So hopefully Evan Ingram doesn't do that when he comes back, and he's able to make plays and add to the offense rather than making the offense less efficient by turning the ball over because he can't hold on to it. Also, he's 5th in average attempted air yards, meaning that he's actually throwing the ball down the field this year, which has been translating to a better offense. It's been translating to a better offense. We have not been an offense that's been constantly throwing the ball, 30, 40 yards downfield, but we have been throwing the ball more than 10 yards, 15, 13, 15, 16, 17 yards down the field. I've enjoyed that. That's what we wanted for a while. Last game against Washington, where there was a ton of deep concepts, and he had pretty much one of his better games of his career. So I expect the Giants to not completely reverse field and actually continue the kind of game that they call, which is RPOs, deep concepts, and just let him go out there and play his brand of football. And he's 1st in average completed air yards. So that means that he's 5th in how many attempts he's throwing down the field, and he's 1st in how much he's completing downfield. So he's doing a really good job down the field. I saw a stat from Bobby Skinner with Talking Giants earlier today, where I think he's ranked 2. He's been 2 for 5 for 75 yards and a touchdown when he throws the ball over 20-something yards. I think so. So that also includes the Slayton drop. It also includes, I think, that Galladay play. So he's been pretty accurate. If Slayton catches that ball, then that means he's 3 for 5 with about 100-something yards and 2 touchdowns and still no interceptions for this season. The last legit interception that Daniel Jones has thrown was November 8th of last year. There was another interception after that, but we don't count that here because it was gone right off of Evan Ingram's hands, right through his palms, into the Dallas Cowboys defender's hands. So the last legit interception that he threw was on November 8th. So he's holding on to the football. He's controlling the ball, not throwing interceptions. He's never really had an interception issue. Problem has been the fumbles. Now he has had that one this year, but if he can continue to improve his offensive production, we can live with the occasional fumble. He's going to have a perfect opportunity this week against the Atlanta Falcons to go out there and continue to have a great season. I think he's having his best season of his career as far as efficiency, as far as how much points he's putting up, as far as keeping his team in these games. He's going to have a chance to go out here against Atlanta, really make a statement game. It is a 1 o'clock game. Not many people are going to be watching as far as the national media, but he's going to have a great chance to go out there and build on what he's already done and put together 3 solid games in a row and his 2nd game in a row without a turnover. And I'm not sure that he's done that in his career so far. Maybe the streak for him is 2 games so far. So I would love to see him put together 3 or 4, 5, 6 games without turning the ball over. But that's all I have for Daniel Jones. This video is running a little bit long. I think he's going to have a great season this year with Kenny Galladay. He's going to continue to build that chemistry. We keep seeing glimpses and flashes of it. I think it'll only get better as the week come. And I'm definitely looking forward to it this week against Atlanta, especially if our defense can't step up. This could possibly turn into a shootout. So you guys have a great rest of your day. And what do you think about Daniel Jones? Do you think he's going to be able to get it done this year? Do you think that this is his last year as a Giant? Or, do you think that we'll still be wondering if he's the franchise quarterback and he'll just get another year next year? If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.